What's going on, everyone? So the Lakers signing Jared Vanderbilt was awesome, right? Giving him that new extension, I thought was a great price. And now we have our core locked up for the foreseeable future. We have a lot of really nice young talent and a lot of pieces that I really think could blossom in the future. And with the signing and extension of Jared Vanderbilt, got me kind of thinking of like which Laker has the most upside from the Lakers that'll very likely play, right? I'm not going to put like D'Angelo Russell in this because there's a lot of question marks with him and like his future with the Lakers. A lot of talks about the Lakers potentially trading him this year. He's on a 1+1. He's not really locked up long term. And Lewis and Shafino, I don't think we're really going to get to see them play much at all this year, if any. And so I kind of want to wait and kind of get a little gauge on them. So I want to kind of stick with the players that we know. Same thing with like Cam Reddish and Jackson Hayes. I'm not going to include them in this sort of conversation. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. But first one we'll start with is Jared Vanderbilt. Now, defensively, he's already one of, if not the best defensive players in the entire league, at least on-ball defenders. He's a guy that is still extremely young at age 24. He still has a lot of upside, a lot of promise. He's been working like a madman in the gym, working on his three-point shot. The reason I think he is kind of lower on the totem pole as far as, you know, that upside of the future for him is I don't think he'll ever be a like elite level offensive player, right? I think he could be very good. I think he could be very serviceable, but I don't think he's ever going to really be anything more than a 3-and-D guy, right? Can he create off the dribble a little bit here and there? Sure, I could see that, but I don't think he's going to be, you know, a Paul George type player, right? Or a Kawhi Leonard type player. I would love it if he does evolve into that one day. That would just be beautiful, right? Good luck, right? Like for opposing teams. But I think realistically, especially now, because the next few years, he's going to kind of be the afterthought on the offensive end, and he's our worst offensive player. He would have to take real significant strides in his overall offensive game to really be put on that map. Again, that doesn't mean that he can't be a great three-point shooter. I could even see him being at some point maybe a 38% three-point shooter, or could he get to 40%? But that doesn't make him a great offensive player. That just makes him what he is, which is a 3-and-D guy. So I think he personally, for me, is lower on the totem pole. Still an excellent player. Still one of those guys that you absolutely need, right? You need that hard-nosed hustle guy that'll get after it, that'll lock down the best player on the other team. Just because I don't think that he is potentially going to have the most upside, that still doesn't mean that I don't think he's a great player. But next up, Rui Hachimura. He is a guy that I think could today go give you 20 to 25 a game. Obviously, it boils down to opportunity. Obviously, it boils down to, you know, shot attempts, positions in which he's in the offense, and how much of the offense is ran through him. I don't expect that this year, but post LeBron, I think Rui Hachimura is going to be his replacement unless some crazy trade happens, you know, Giannis becomes available and the Lakers end up unloading him. But I think for the next like 2 years or so, I think Rui will be just kind of like that scorer in spots, very likely comes off the bench. Even if he starts, he'll be like the fourth option, something like that. But I could see post LeBron James, him sort of starting to evolve more into that offensive just monster. I mean, his midi is absolute butter. The guy can take guys off the dribble. He uses his size and his strength to finish through contact. He can knock down the three ball. He needs to work on that a little more, but he's a guy that is still, again, extremely young, a lot of upside, can play and defend multiple positions. He's not really great at defending the three, although we'll see he slimmed down a little bit, which could be a pro and a con, right? Because like the pro is maybe now he'll be a little more twitchier and he can kind of stay in front of the quicker guards and the quicker wings out on the perimeter. That would be fantastic. But I have concerns of him losing some of that strength and losing some of that ability to guard bigger, more physical players. Look at what he did to Karl Anthony Towns, right? Karl Anthony Towns was trying to post him up and put him on the block, and he couldn't move him. I mean, even Jokic at times struggled against Rui. again, you're never going to shut these guys down, but the ability to have him, because he's got that lower center of gravity, he's more physical, he can be more of a brute than, say, like a Jared Vanderbilt. I'd like to see that, but he's a guy that I do think could absolutely be again, 20 to 25 point a game guy. I don't know if Rui will ever be like all-star, superstar level. Again, opportunity and, schemes within the actual team could change that. You never know, right? Like, it's the old saying, the difference between a star and a good player is just opportunity and attempts. Because it's true, right? Like, most guys in the NBA can go drop 25 to 30 on any given night, right? Most guys can. Like, anybody that has like a half decent offensive game, Rui is like elite, especially in that mid-range area. So he's a guy that absolutely can go drop buckets. But again, it's opportunity and attempts. Even if he does, like, he is very efficient, right? Could he be like a Kawhi Light? Like, a lot of people, like to compare him to a Kawhi Leonard. Could he be a Kawhi Light? Maybe. I don't think he'll ever be anywhere close defensively, but as far as like the offensive production that he can put out, could he? Absolutely. I could definitely see that. I'm kind of like, personally with Rui, I'm kind of like neutral, right? Like, I wouldn't be shocked if he becomes like an all-star at some point in his career and makes an all-star team. But I think realistically, he's probably, like, his best years probably be around like 20 to maybe 23 points per game if he's more of a focal point on the offensive end, which I don't know if that would be enough to get him to an all-star level. Could he be a huge factor on the Lakers for the future? Absolutely. But I don't know if like he has the most upside of all the players personally. But again, this is just a conversation. I want to hear yours. Moving on, Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves, I could absolutely see as a 25-5-5 guy. I think he has potential to be all-star level guy. And the reason I think he will be is because I think he will get the opportunities and he will be a big part of the Lakers' overall schemes, right? Like, that's what I think Rui is always going to lack. I don't know if Rui will ever be a main focal point for the Lakers, even post LeBron. Where Reeves, this year, Reeves might be the second option on any given night, right? LeBron really seems to like to defer to Austin Reeves and kind of allow him to shine. So I think LeBron James coasts in a lot of ways. And post LeBron, because that's kind of what this is more about, like the future of the Lakers, post LeBron, I think he kind of becomes the guy or one of the guys, right? Anthony Davis will be the number one option as long as he's on the Lakers. But Austin Reeves, the reason I think he will have such a significance is because he'll be on the ball a lot. So a lot of the decision making will be up to him. So he can dictate, do I want to go get 30 tonight or do I want to go get 15 assists, right? Like, that is why I think Austin Reeves will probably be the guy that is like the biggest Laker, so to speak, in the future. And of course, now he's already kind of being that guy. I don't know if he'll ever be an all-star just because of how deep the guard position is in the Western Conference, but that doesn't mean he can't play to that level. Every year there's a handful of players that are on the all-snub team, right? And it's like, wow, this guy absolutely should have been an all-star, right? If Austin Reeves is a 25-5-5 guy, he's absolutely an all-star. So but that doesn't mean that he'll actually get in and get that title. So I don't know if he'll ever get that. Now, obviously, injuries and stuff like that, you see it every year. A guy ends up missing. Could Austin Reeves end up getting the nod? Plus, he plays for the Lakers, so he's always going to have those extra fan votes that most players don't get otherwise because, Lakers Nation is so strong. But Austin Reeves, he's definitely not a finished product, but I think his ceiling isn't like exponentially high. Like, I don't think he's ever going to be like a top 5 player or a top 10 player in the league. Like, I think he'll be a very good player. I think, again, he'll be an all-star level player. I think he could be your, second, third option on a contender, but I don't think if he's the best player on your roster, you're winning an NBA championship. Right? Like if he's the guy and you just have a bunch of like if you swap him with Giannis, I don't even know if Milwaukee makes the playoffs. But I do think in the right circumstances, in the right environments where he's kind of the second guy alongside Anthony Davis or the third guy alongside Anthony Davis and somebody else, or, like this year, you're going to see him along LeBron and AD. I think that Austin Reeves is really going to shine, really going to thrive. Plus, he plays so well off of other stars that I think that that's a huge benefit for him. Right? That's why I think it would be good to go, even post LeBron, have that other star where Austin Reeves could kind of play alongside. But last person I want to talk about, Max Christie. He has the most upside. He, in my opinion, I think has the potential to be the Lakers' franchise guy and potential superstar. Will he? Time will tell. He's 20 years old. What we saw, and I want to preface this by saying, I understand it's Summer League, but what we saw him do in Summer League was he was a man amongst boys there at 20 years old. I mean, he was literally unstoppable. He got whatever he wanted whenever he wanted it. He was playing great defense, and he was just coasting, right? Because he was just out there trying not to get hurt. He was just trying to get reps in. And was dominating and looked like this guy doesn't belong. I mean, he was the best player on the court every single game that they played, that he played in. And that was in between year one and year two. He may end up even having a big role this year. The Lakers are super high on him. The Lakers believe he's their next star. And if he continues to take the strides that we saw from year one to year two, and let's say the next 2 years, 3 years, he continues to do that, oh, absolutely. Absolutely, he'll be the guy. And look at it like this. You could develop him for the next 3 years, and he'd still be younger than Jared Vanderbilt, Austin Reeves, and Rui Hachimura. Like, that tells you everything you need to know about his upside. The guy he grew. Right, he's gotten bigger. He's like 6'7" now, something like that, 6'6" now. And it's not out of a possibility he grows a little more still, right? But even if he doesn't, he's got the good size. He's great defensively. He has excellent instincts, incredible instincts on the defensive side. He legitimately could end up being a two-way elite level player. Again, time will tell if he can get to that star or superstar level, right? But out of all the players, if you had to vote or bet on which Laker could potentially be a top 5 player in the league at some point, who are you betting on besides Max Christie? And again, I'm not saying that he'll ever be that, but you also don't know. Again, he's 20 years old, right? Giannis, when he came in the league, did anyone think he was going to? No. Jokic, no. Right? There's so many players that, you don't know. Like, Kobe when he came in the league. Right? Kobe was riding the pine, airballing shots, looking like he was out of his league. And guess what? Boom. Next thing you know, he's one of the greatest players ever. I'm not saying Max Christie will be that, but we don't know. He's the biggest question mark, in my opinion, and the guy that has the most upside. But anyway, just a fun little conversation. Again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions, however you feel about it. Let me know down in the comment section below.